Hello, hello. Good morning. Hey, Xanax. How are you doing today? Hey, Asitsu. How are you doing? So I figured out what was causing the schedule to not show up on the system. Apparently, I was trying to use the same fonts that I use for programming, the Fira code, and apparently OBS really doesn't like that. So it shows up as just a zero size font. Like it's just nothing's there, and I can't like force it to go bigger. I can't do anything to it. So I changed to the what is it? It's the JetBrains mono font, and that clearly works. So yeah, now you can actually see what I'm doing working on. Nice. Okay, so you have a Tori, HTMX, Axum, and Askima app working. Did you end up keeping that tool that you found yesterday? Yeah, the documentation isn't great, but it works. It's a Rust tool, right? Unreal Realities. Hello, good morning. Zilby is around helping this early morning. Absolutely, he is. Um, that is that is definitely the oh, sorry. That is definitely the face of somebody who's doing a lot of help. I didn't mean to scare you, Zilby. You get free pets. No, it's a JS framework. Interesting. Interesting. So that just works with Tori and the backend part of that just well. Nice. Okay. We are in what are we in? We are in writing. So if I right, so we sort of figured out what we wanted to do, but then working with this. You were laughing looking at the archived channel on Discord and seeing the pictures. Yeah, he is he still is super cute, but as a young kitten, he was the cutest. So every once in a while I still take a photo and upload him to Discord. He is is it 3 years now? I think it's 3 years now. Old now. Maybe 2.5. I have to go look up when we started with him. I think it was in 2020. Might have been 2021. Oh, I think it was 2021. So that would be next year's gonna be 3. This year he is over 2 years now. I could be wrong. I get numbers wrong pretty easily. So I uh I could be off by one here. We got him when he was 10 weeks old. We think. It was a rescue, so they don't have an exact age on him. The app has an Axum router that handles the fake requests. It doesn't actually start a server or bind to a port. Oh, weird. That sounds interesting. That that's really weird. But if it works, right? Almost feels like they could rip the router part. Oh no, that's what you are doing. You're just using the Axum router without the actual server. Interesting. I've never done it before. Okay, we'll be able to bulk insert using UNNEST. All right, so here's the documentation. So UNNEST is a Postgres function that takes in an array and creates a temporary table with each item in the array as a row in this table. For example, if we run the following in PSQL, so select from UNNEST, and then we have three arrays in here. So hello world, lols, ding, and then 1 and 2. So let's actually take this and rerun this. We get this. Stacking, good morning. Hello, how are you doing today? Oh, I already literally have that ready for me. All right, so we have UNNEST. I think you have to start with this in a true table. So interesting. So I wonder if I could probably rename these, but it doesn't really matter. Um, okay. Then we have our hello lols 1 world ding 2. Okay, so if I do that, then we'll line those up nicely. Okay. You need to integrate SQLx SQLite next to test that it works correctly. Oh yeah, that'll be nice to throw in a SQLx application into that. So specifically a SQLite, because then you have your portable database going everywhere with that application. That'd be it. Stacking, you saw the monofont action I had for the schedule. Yeah, so I was the problem that I had was I was trying to use the Fira code monofont, and that was not the way to go. OBS apparently really doesn't like that. Okay, so we can use this to turn vectors into inputs. Inputs for an insert method. It seems like the async Tori commands run via Tokyo, so it should just work, hopefully. Oh yeah, if you're that should just work. Okay, so we can use this turn vectors and inputs for an insert method as when given an when given a series of vectors, I guess like this would be we can use this to turn the arrays into. Now there was documentation for this specifically where it like talked about that it could do this. Let's see if we can find it again. So Postgres insert select array. Ooh, that's oh, it wasn't insert, it was populate, right? So Postgres populate. This one. No, okay. So it wasn't that. It was there was something about populate. Oh, so this is part of the tutorial. So I guess that tutorial has it. That just takes me home. Is there something where I get to see all the chapters of the tutorial? Maybe I could. No, okay. There's tutorial dash populate. Oh, okay. Can I go to tutorial? No, of course not. Tutorial.html. Yeah, okay. Here it is. So populating table with rows. I think that's what we just looked at because it was right after creating the table, so I saw that. Huh, I could swear that it was populating a table that you found stacking. That's where it had like the copy and some of the other stuff. If I search for populate UNNEST, do you have anything here? No, the SQL docs do have that. I was hoping that I could find somewhere where it like shows in the Postgres docs, like, hey, here's like if you're given an array. So maybe populate or insert with an array, but don't want to insert an array type. I want to insert from array, like select from an array type. But I don't think that. I guess there's example programs which might help. I guess we can no longer shit on other docs until Postgres gets its act together. It's like Postgres is what it is an example of what I would call really good, high quality documentation that has zero discoverability. Like they somehow manage to make it really hard to find stuff using their own docs. Like it's so much easier if I just go straight to like DuckDuckGo or Google or something else with that. I guess we could just go to SQLx. So where's their back? Here it is. Now, do they have a link to the documentation in here? It does not. Wait, maybe it does. See also these two sections. Um, let's not act like that awful table they give for something like insert is in any way helpful. I mean, it's true. It's not. It's very hard to read. Like this documentation style, is like there's so many options that goes with it. It takes so long to figure out what's going on. So like this is telling me that I can use table functions with select, and they in fact have UNNEST as something here. But then they don't have the full example, so that's just yeah. Dottie, hello. I'm looking for the official documentation so that I could link to it as opposed to just hey, just trust me. But I think it may have to be a yeah, here's like go take a look at this. Uh cuz like this kind of works, but it also yeah, this just takes me right back here, which isn't helpful. Also, how did you find the link specifically to this one? I oh, it has an ID on it, I bet. I bet this has an ID on it, doesn't it? And that's how you found it. So wait, there's no ID on it? Ooh. And that just takes you out. Then these are all the other ones. So wait a second, there's no ID? Well, let's make this bigger. Yeah, that takes me out there. I don't see an ID on this, which is really unfortunate. Vampire, hello. MS SQL. We call those CT, Common Table Expressions. Uh, and good morning. Uh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just. Okay. We can use the turn arrays into inputs for an insert method as when given. Okay, so we can use this to turn the arrays into inputs for an insert method. This is like insert method. In SQL, I guess like is this the same in other ones too? I don't know if that is UNNEST even in MySQL or MS SQL or something like that? Probably not, right? That construction with two misaligned arrays, 2 and 3 items, that just seems wrong. You could in the documentation. Yeah, this is the official documentation. Although in this case they're trying to say that they're gonna pad this with nulls. So this becomes a null. So I suppose that's good. It's trying to tell you what will happen if you do that. So it won't error out. It will just, you know, create nulls everywhere. The one above has an ID. Wait. The one above has an ID. This one. This one? Really? Oh, there it is. Whoa. Okay, yeah. Here's that lovely ID here. So if I go there and we say, okay, take me to this, and then we go to give me an anchor to that. Did I paste it in right? Oh, there we go. Okay. This is it. Oh, which I actually had right here. I just completely morning times. Okay. For example, if we run the following in PSQL, this creates the temporary table. We can use this to turn arrays into inputs for an insert method. For an insert method, I almost want to be, maybe I should. So like, it turns out when we give, now I want to see like, if I do that with UNNEST, it like actually inserts multiple things. So if we take a look at games again, so that's a delete games. So if I do insert into games, name, platform, then it was select star from. So it was unnest a bunch of things. Could I just do what would happen if I did an array like that of just like 1, 2. Okay, so it needs like to unnest these in some way. And I can't just go like that because there's an error. I don't think I can do like a parentheses, don't think, because that's like a subquery type thing. So that's not going to make any sense. So it needs to be an unnest, and an unnest creates a table. Okay, because it creates the table, I am searching through that, and because it's multiple things, it's going to do it multiple times. So it turns out when we give a table, I know what we can do to verify this. If I do create table, I don't know, test, like I want to name it the exact same. So create table test. And we're gonna have, I guess we could just have the same thing, right? So we have name, I have to have a primary. Do I have to have a primary key? I forget if I'm allowed to like create something without one, because I always usually end up either creating a primary key as an ID or a like primary key across multiple columns. But I usually don't just like not have a primary key. I think I can. So if I have a name, which is like a varchar 255, and a platform, which is a varchar 255 default default Steam. So if I do something like that, can I use column reference and default expression? Oh, is it like, oh, how do I set the default? Is it oh, I forget how to set the default. Is it parentheses? Is it a function? No. Art went in. Hello. How are you doing today? As far as you remember, it'll create one for you if you don't specify one. Oh, interesting. Okay. Also, you redeemed Pat the Kitty. Yeah, we could do that. Subby. Hi. Get a look at his face. Okay, so it creates a OID automatically for you if you don't create one, or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does. It's an extra column for the table. Is it like one of those hidden columns, or is it? Because like I could imagine that it might be a hidden column. So Sleepy should have waited for him to wake up. He's not purring right now, but he might be too tired to like sort of purr. And his whiskers are out, but everything else is pretty much tired cat. I think the cat might be broken. He isn't sitting in the box. I moved this box downstairs. It was upstairs, and he loved it upstairs. So we got another one. He loves that one also upstairs. So I moved this one down here to see if he'd like it for us. He hasn't laid in it yet. I put an old shirt inside of it to see if maybe that would um that he like likes to lie on from my room, and so maybe he'll be good. Chunky Lover, hello. Damn, he needs some patches. He is tired. He didn't even move from that position where we scratched him from. But he's he's happy. I think he's happy. Okay. What are we doing? So it turns out when we give a table. Okay. So basically let's just oh, I can't use Vim commands over here in PSQL. Platform. Well, I forgot how to set default, so I'll just ignore it. We'll just do varchar 55, something like that. And then I want to do an insert into test name platform values. Okay, let's do we'll do BG, we'll do BG1. Um we could say something like GOG BG2. You can get this on, we'll just say GOG again. I don't remember uh where else you could buy it. And then BG3 Steam. Okay, so if we do that, that inserts 3. So table test. There we go. Okay, so now I want to do a. Maybe we also need a Vim in Postgres. Well, I'm using Alacrity, and there is a way for me to go into Vim mode in Alacrity, but I never remember what it is. So I just never do it. Like I've looked it up 3 or 4 times. I've done it once. It's I could probably change the defaults for it. I just never end up doing it. Oh, you mean yeah, the Vim and VS Code. Yeah. We could let's just change that one. Here, let's change that one. So let's do commands custom. Instead of Vim and VS Code, let's just do Vim and not Vim outside of Vim. Ooh, what should I name what should I name it? Vim and Docker. Like Vim and Vim out of Vim or something like that. Oh, we'll do not Vim. We'll do just not Vim. Not Vim. So Brooks is attempting to use Vim hx commands outside of Vim hx count times. Okay. So this is now bang not Vim. Vim and not Vim. Wait, that's the same thing, right? Kind of Vim. I think we're doing not Vim. We're doing not Vim. So it's bang. So it is now bang not Vim. All right. So next up, what am I do? Oh, I want to do, okay. So now I want to see without the UNNEST, because we basically just did the manual UNNEST ourselves. So I want to do an insert into games. We want name platform. We do select star from test. And that inserts all three of them. And so now they're all in here. So that's how it works. So it turns out in insert statements, we can give a select. So a select statement command statement and as long as the rows match up, it will insert what was selected. We can use this to insert okay, it turns out okay, so we can use this to insert multiple arrays into the games table with UNNEST with this. I'll just like do like that. Then we'll do SQL. Okay. Let's remove, not remove, delete games. Okay. Isn't it delete? Oh, delete from games. Okay. Delete all those. All right, so we're going to do an insert into games, name, form, not values, and we're just going to do a select star from, and then that's the UNNEST. It's a single one, so we have an array of those and an array of those. So if we have something like Starfield and another one of Baldur's Gate 3, then we can do Steam Okay. I accidentally, as I went to go hit the closing quote, I accidentally hit I enter at the same exact time, which is super sensitive on this keyboard. JWall, hello. I'm covering table value functions in general or just UNNEST for this specific use case. Just UNNEST for this specific use case because it's UNNEST is the suggested way, I guess like is the second suggested way to do bulk inserts. And this is one where it's a single insert as opposed to a multiple inserts inside of a transaction. Okay, select star from UNNEST, array star field bonus 3, array. Okay, so then we have to do Steam again, like that. And then no function matches the given name and the argument types. Oh, right, typecast. Oh, I totally forgot. We have to tell it what this is, the typecast. So we have to say you are var char 255. Can I do text? Text might have been good too. So where do I put the types? It's not there apparently. Text would have been similar. Okay. Well, I'll try text. Do I put it here? That doesn't make sense. Okay, hold on. So if I run this, no function matches the given name and argument type. So you might need to add explicit type cas. Oh. It would be helpful if I spelled the function correctly. Okay, so here's yeah. Okay. So insert into games, name platform, select star from UNNEST, array, starfield, Baldur's Gate 3, array, Steam. All right. This will insert both items into the, I guess like we already talked about that, so we're good to go. All right. So let's change this. Let's add a. We'll do UNNEST with in SQL, and then we'll do UNNEST in Rust. So UNNEST in Rust with SQLx. Now that we've inserted multiple items at the same time in, I guess, like SQL using UNNEST, let's do the same thing with SQLx in Rust. Oh, types go after, not before. Oh, I could have put it afterwards, but it still wouldn't have worked because it was So it actually knew. It knew that this was text. I just misspelled UNNEST. Yeah. So next time that would work. Art went in. After watching me create the Rust course, your desire to create one for the entire spectrum of DevOps is growing on you like an imposter syndrome of a junior developer. How did you approach mapping out the syllabus for your course before starting to create the content for it? So for Axum itself, this is what I end up doing. Um, I created basic, standard, and sort of assessments. But I don't know if any of this is actually helpful in like creating, like planning out like what you're gonna do. This is more of like organizing. Okay, have I actually like created it before, and have I done anything with it? And you can see my initial plan was to use CRM as opposed to, so like basically we're just doing this in SQLx instead of CRM. That being said, one of my mentors is so I guess, like, let me go back a little bit. I did education. So I was a teacher for 3 years. I helped create some curriculum. I taught a bunch, just like sort of all around all the different types of education in programming education. And so one of my mentors was my boss at that time. And I left and I continued doing software development type stuff. Went to leadership, became manager, and he stayed in education. Sort of, he runs, like, his big thing is like he can run schools. He can run programming schools specifically. He's very, 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 very good at that. But he can't provide, like, what is it called? Exponential returns on investment. So no, paid for schools don't really like it that much because he can give you like 50% back on your money, but not like exponential returns. I'm digressing. So let's go back. When I asked him what's a strategy for figuring out what to teach in a course, he said, imagine that your student has gone to a meetup after taking your course and is like super, super, super happy and proud. Like, they just completed the course. They're awesome. They're really happy. And they go up to an old, gruntled senior developer in whatever system you got. So in your case, it'd be like a DevOps developer. And they're like, yeah, I just finished this DevOps course by Art Winnin, and I feel great. That's you, J-Wall. Nice. I feel amazing. I know all this stuff about DevOps now. And this, oh, you're the old disgruntled dev. Got it. Okay. So here, they go up to J-Wall and they say, I've just taken this course. I know all about this. And you're the DevOps guy too. Perfect for this example. So J-Wall, you may say, oh, really? You know DevOps super well after taking a course. Okay. Well, then, do you know how to? And then anything they say after that needs to be in the course. So imagine what this could be. Like, at what point will the student be embarrassed by saying like, oh no, I actually don't know how to do CI/CD? Because it'd be like, what are you talking about? You need CI/CD for DevOps. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that. Do you even know how many clock cycles this operation takes? Now, there is a certain point where it switches, that the person switches from grumpy to just a jerk. And at that point, you would imagine that you're sitting off in a back and like in a shadow just watching this. And you're like, hold on. Look, you don't, as a DevOps person going into like, at your first time doing a DevOps work, you're not a jerk. Okay, fine. You may be watching this, somebody else doing the jerk thing. The idea though is, as the educator, you want to imagine it being a jerk because they're essentially trying to out this like new developer, and they're trying to like make them feel bad. Uh, so how do we as educators give them the knowledge so that they don't feel bad? They can protect themselves. They can defend, and they can say like, no, I actually do know CI/CD. We learned GitHub Actions. And then maybe the person says, oh, well, did you learn Circle CI? And it's like, well, did they really need to? No, they just need to learn one of them, because they're all close enough together. So it's like, no, they don't. Then the person can say like, no, I didn't learn Circle CI, and it doesn't matter, because it's like, it's easy enough to switch over to it. I'll make sure to have a lesson about saying it depends whenever you don't know. Yeah, actually, that's the thing. Is one of the reasons why I often add in objectives into the top that include describe why we're going to use something like that. That's sort of like, that's one of the reasons. Is like, oh, I learned this thing because it helps me out in this way. It's also one of the, like, I make my specialty is longer courses. Like, I am much more at home and much better at like, okay, we're gonna create like a very like, you're good to go at the end of this course. It's really long though, because a really short one is not going to provide you everything that you need. Just counter with what kind of CPU. I mean, yeah, you could. That's the thing, is like, maybe we should just have a course of how to deal with jerk, old, grumpy DevOps people that gatekeep the industry. But yeah, Jwall, you're not one of the jerky ones. It's like, okay, I didn't learn anything about how to actually use a database or program, but I learned a lot about how to make you feel bad about trying to tell me that I don't know how to do that stuff. You think people would pay for how to win an argument online course? And the entire thing is really just counter trolling and just keeping up the pressure until the other people quit because they're just tired. How to survive online? Yeah, I mean, there might be value in that. Okay, so we did this. Now that we've inserted multiple items at the same time in SQL using UNNEST, let's do the same thing with SQLx in Rust. So I think at this point I can just do the full thing, because we've already done, like, everything should be like pretty familiar at this point. Like, I've given context of everything else. So let's now go find this. Thank you for the reference for your mentor. It does make a lot of sense, and it helps think about the right topics to cover. Yeah, it also is one of those things where you start to realize that all these like 2-hour courses that are like complete guide to this is not complete in any way whatsoever. It can't never be. Like, it's 2 hours. You can't learn. You can learn like maybe one or two things in 2 hours, not like everything about whatever. And there's so many of those. I mean, I would argue that's the problem with all things. Like, how many times will people say like, learn oh yeah, just go like learn this thing in, an hour. It's fine. Like, back back in my day, there was like the learn X in 90 minutes or something like that. Oh, or 60 minutes series of books that people would get, like, learn JavaScript in 90 minutes. It's like, oh, okay. There are these really tiny books, and it was very helpful if you already knew JavaScript or whatever language you're going through. Learn C in 10 days. I mean, at least 10 days is closer to reality than like, oh, it was 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes. It was like, learn X in 10 minutes. Um, yeah, which is even worse. There are a lot of learn DevOps will you eat your cereal courses, but they don't cover anything from real world work. Yeah, and that's the problem with education is that education is hard. True story. 1998. My first job, I was a systems admin in the Netherlands. We were going to send out a sales team to South America, and we bought them a new laptop, a modem, so they could communicate. I told them to take out a worldwide dial-in provider, but they insisted they wanted to keep their local dial. The local, oh my, that in 1998 too. So they go there and complain they can't get a connection. So my manager calls me into his office and asks, "Can you fix this?" I'm sorry, that's an ID10T error. Um, it took 50 attempts those 10 days to even get close to beginner level. Yeah. Oh. Um, Art went in. Plus, usually half of this course is an ad of whoever sponsored the course. Those those piss me off. Like, I it's like if you're going to do an ad for the course, make the course really good. So I tell him about signal degradation and delays. He gets angry and yells at me. I don't care about it. Excuses. Fix it. Told him that it was beyond your control to fix it, and he took it as refused. Uh, yeah, I've not had anything that bad in my experience as a sysadmin. Uh, but I also had my boss on my side, so I would not be surprised if I got if there was a few queries that never even made it to my desk because we had good people covering for that. And it's like, nope, we're not even gonna bring it to the sysadmins. That's your problem. You made a librarian cry once trying to explain how relative links and HTML work. They maintain the school's website. You didn't mean to, you just really confused them. That's so this is the other really dangerous thing with education. I actually call it like dangerous. Um my one of my family members does or at least did, I think she's retired now. Does or did math for adults in education because it turns out that a lot of us get drop out of math and get terrified of it because terrible education in high school or maybe even before that, and they just look we just said, well, we can't do math. It turns out we can do math. It's just that we had terrible experience in education, and that convinces us that we're stupid, and that's like farthest from the truth. And that's it's something that's something my mentor will like get really upset about is if he sees somebody who is doing education but actually causing harm to people. Like that's a trigger. And so like it takes a certain like it's so easy to accidentally get somebody who's like, well, I'm stupid, I can't do this. This company gave everyone a dial-in modem. Uh I mean, that's a way to do it. Uh Muad, Sharadi, hello. How are you doing today? You're a math major and try to explain maths as simple as you can to everyone around you. Makes them less scared of it. Awesome. It is really awesome to see people who do that because it's it is way too like there are too many people out there who like it's not just math. It's like literally everything that are uh I give up, like I can't do this. And they just been conditioned to to give up because they think that they're stupid if it, like, you know, because some teacher yelled at them or told them that they were stupid, or like, you know, oh, you'll never be able to do this. It's like, oh, just no, it's okay. You just, everybody needs personalized education. It's like, that method didn't work for you. We'll find a method that does. Vampire, you needed so to open a port in a firewall to grant someone access to a SQL instance. You asked for their IP address and it was static. They came back with 192.168. Yep. Yep. I have had that one before. That was fun. You hope you've gotten much better at educating folks since then. Like, if you try, like if you actually try and you like notice if people are like starting to freak out or like myth it, there's no way not to get better at it. Like, you just like you just, all you have to be is have empathy. Just a little bit of empathy, and you'll notice like, ooh, okay, something is going wrong. Hold on, let's try something else. You try to inject some humor when you educate people. Also, you're very retentive about formatting. Oh, and you love Python. Well, Python and retentive about formatting go together. Like the founder of Python was like, "Yep, we're doing this exact thing of formatting," and I can't say it's a bad idea. I think Python's a great first language because of that. Because you learn, well, I've got to have like indentation set up and all that, you know, all that going. I used to tell students who dabbled in Python during Courage Week or Courage Hours that they if they're running into problems when they did Python because of like, oh, they like their indentation is off or something like that, then that means that there's a lesson there when they come back to JavaScript. Is they should probably be consistent with their JavaScript indentation too. Everyone has their own way of learning, which is something not a lot of teachers understand, unfortunately. Yes. Everybody still thinks of like the that there's like the modality is a learning, and that's not true. Like, that's been debunked so many times, and it's people still like fall for it, including educators. Uh all right. So let's see. Let's jump in and see if we can write the well, actually, do we have the code? No, writing the code is pretty easy. I think we have the code for it already. So let's go find it. So I think this is in, unless I accidentally deleted it. Cache, go temp. Nope, it's still here. Into queries. Here's the bulk unnest with bulk insert with unnest. So we have, okay, our pool, our games. Okay, so names equals games. Iter. Okay, so basically we're going through and we're extracting out the games as stirs. We're extracting out the platforms as stirs. We're then doing our query, insert into games, and select from unnest, and then we have to give it the type here. Now, this is the reason why I try to do that : varchar at the beginning, is because of that. But yeah, fun times. Don't worry about it, Art winning. It's part of it's part of being on the stream. Go format introduced a very nice way of making consistent style of code. I think centralized formatting tools for languages are a great idea. Okay, and then we add those in. Okay, so I think this is good. So if I want 24x, oh, almost. Bring in there. Okay, so we're breaking out the games, the game parts. So, the names and the platforms into vectors using maps. Map methods. This allows us to use the UNNEST SQL function to a SQL function and pass in those vex individually. Notice that we have to give a type. We have to give a type to the parameterized values. So the parameterized values in order for SQLx to be able to validate the function at compile time. All right, I think that works. So then, conclusion. UNNEST is a great way to use a single insert statement and load many items into a table at the same time quickly. Because it's a single statement, if there is a problem inserting them, the database will roll back the transaction. We'll automatically roll back the transaction. I guess like that. Unfortunately, UNNEST is poorly documented. It's poorly documented, like many things in Postgres. So not really helping out. Let's see. You're new around here. Can you loop in what's going on here? Oh yeah. So I'm creating a course on SQLx and Rust, and specifically connecting to and just basically using a Postgres database. So it's going to be a fairly simple, like just getting going, but like, including some interesting tricks like bulk inserts and other things. So this lesson is bulk inserting, or really bulk. We're using inserts as the example, but you can use updates, deletes, anything with that with UNNEST essentially to do a single insert statement, but many things at the same time. So it's super fast. Which stacking, I don't know if you're still here or paying attention, but you said you were going to maybe take a look at this for your like really big mega inserts that you had to do. Did you try it out? I would love to know what in a real world environment if UNNEST is actually faster than transactions. Because transactions are good, but if UNNEST is faster, that'd be even better. Kukma, hello. What do you think about idea to show or not show concrete error if user is admin or not? For typical users, 500 something gone wrong. For admin, for example, I32 overflow on following. I think it depends on what type of admin we're talking about. For example, in my day job, an admin is an educator admin at a hospital, which is not technical and whatever. Like, the word admin, unfortunately, is too vague in this case for me to answer that. But if it's a technical admin, like if it's a sysadmin, or if it's like you as like the developer of it, then yeah, I think you can give that more concrete error, as long as they're logged in and you know that they're really, like, supposed to know that. Ever heard of a project called Noria by John Gangset, aka John Who? That's the database, right? That's the database he's been working on. I didn't realize it was called Noria, but I know he's been working on a database in Rust for a while now. Actually don't know if I want to put in that. That feels too negative. I think all I'll just say is uh this can also be used for other bulk operations, such as updates. That feels better because the S doesn't actually have has on there. Okay, so then that I don't have any of you, so we're good. It's been done for a few years now. Oh, I didn't realize it was done. Another guy founded a company that tries to push it to industry. A couple of years old, a brand new database. It's really hard to convince industry to use a new database because databases are so foundational to companies. And like having it like be, I think a lot of companies like end up waiting to just sort of like see, okay, is it battle tested by someone else? Because they don't want to pay for like to battle test it themselves. But maybe we can try it sometime. Because like we can build out some like projects that um aren't like, deal with money or stuff like that. It could just be like interesting sort of like little things for ourselves. Sergio, hello. Is Noria a database or does it run on top of other databases? Moad, you might have more information on it. My understanding is that it was its own thing, like a purely database written in Rust as opposed to just on top of something like Postgres. But I didn't go too deep into it because I thought it was still a while out from being completed. You understand that it has a real good cache system or something like that. I mean, anything that's modern is going to be really good. Yeah, it's a database on its own. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, that makes it way harder to reach industry. I think it'd be easier to hit startups probably, but it's gonna be like if you want to get into, I mean, I guess like in private applications where it's not a core system, that's gonna work out well. But yeah, we can after I do some courses and like, we have things going on, I'll have it added to my list. Okay. Meanwhile, let's read through this and make sure it looks good. SQLx bulk inserts with UNNEST. We can bulk insert items into a database using the Postgres function UNNEST. Objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to bulk insert using UNNEST. Content. UNNEST in SQL. UNNEST is a Postgres function that takes in an array and creates a temporary table with each item in the array as a row in this table. For example, if we run the following in PSQL, okay, so select star from UNNEST, we have the 3 arrays. It creates this table here. We can use this to turn the arrays into inputs for an insert method. It turns out in insert statements, we can give a select statement, and as long as the rows match up, it will insert what was selected. We can use this to insert multiple arrays into the games table with UNNEST. Insert into games, name, platform, select star, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we go there. UNNEST in Rust with SQL. Now that we've inserted multiple items at the same time in SQL using UNNEST, let's do the same thing with SQLx in Rust. Okay, so we do all of, so it all sort of like looks good. We're breaking out the names into platforms into vectors using .map methods. This allows us to use the UNNEST SQL function and pass in those vecs individually. Notice that we have to give a type to the parameterized values in order for SQLx to be able to validate the functions at compile time. Conclusion. UNNEST is a great way to use a single insert statement and load many items into a table at the same time quickly. Because it's a single statement, if there is a problem inserting them, the database will roll back the transaction. This can also be used for other bulk operations such as updates. Okay. So we've got 13 minutes, like 12 minutes. Do you think this will be like a 10-minute video? It might be. Like there's not much to it, but it also might be something I need to wait for this afternoon. We can prepare the VS Code for it anyways, at the very least. Let's see. What length of names in your code? Is it 2 or unknown? Just interested in one varchar. Oh, yeah. For, well, here, we've got, let's open up VS Code and take a look into it. So you're talking about, where is it? This one right here, right? So what length of names in your code? Is it 2 or unknown? Just interested in $1 varchar. Yeah, so I'm this is the parameterized insert. So basically the names go into here, and then I'm promising SQLx that these are actually our varchars that is inside of this vector of names. And I have only 2 of them in here. And then platforms is the same length, although apparently it could be less. Like this could be less than names, and it would fill out with nulls, which is how UNNEST works. Databases are really hard to do right. You have to care about the actual file systems you're writing to, unless you leverage one of the KV low-level databases to build on, like RocksDB. I could imagine. Plus, if you're actually writing a database, you have to write it for all the different operating systems that it's going to run on. And most people want it to run on the big 3, so Mac, Windows, and Linux. So you have to basically be able to handle all 3 and then have it be as good on all 3 as possible. Why do I use VS Code? So I use Helix for my my main dev, and then I use VS Code when I'm recording lessons on videos. Mostly because most people who are watching are going to be on VS Code, and I want something familiar to them. I ran into this problem a while back when I was doing education in person. We had some instructors that were trying to use like that did use Vim, and the students would like, well, okay, that's great and all about like, JavaScript functions, but how did you do that in Vim? It's like, no, 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 no. I don't don't pay attention to this. Pay attention to like the code, like the content. And then they would just get really, really, really distracted by the really cool Vim stuff that's like not on their computer. And they're like, I want to do that too. And it's like, ooh, I don't know if you should learn Vim and learn coding at the same exact time. How about you get like the basics of coding first and then we'll teach you Vim? So it's now like my go-to is just to do Vim for actual like coding lessons. Sorry, Vim? No, VS Code. Database design in itself is an art, and then you have several options to pick from. I like the fact dimension table approach, normalization to the max, but I have not seen that a lot. But a good designed table is a dream to work with. Too bad that people see SQL as a glorified Excel. What? So I have a fun fact. When we were teaching, we created our own LMS, and so we decided to just like to make it down and dirty, like a super basic MVP. We found an SDK for Google Sheets, and so we're like, oh, okay, Google Sheets, and so we used it as a database because it was cheap, like as in free. So we started onboarding students, and like they were submitting like their grades, they were submitting all sorts of other stuff, which then like went in here, which means like we had cells filled with like, some like text code examples and like other things, and we had like a grader bot that would allow us to like go through and read it, like mark them as, what grades there were, and therefore like their records of how they're doing was just all in a spreadsheet for us to like do reports and other things on. So it was great, right? Like perfectly awesome. My boss one day got a phone call from the project manager for Sheets saying, what the heck are you doing? And he thought he was in trouble at first. And it was like, oh, no, no, no. We're okay with that. We're just seeing really weird usage from your account that we've never seen with any other account ever before. And that's weird. Okay, anyways, oh, you're building an LMS and using that? Okay, cool. All right, well, have fun. Anyways, just wanted to know what the heck you were doing. So I always like, we always laugh about that whenever we think about like, oh yeah, spreadsheets as databases. You totally can do that. You might also not be surprised that that system got really, 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 really slow after a lot of grades were submitted. Does SQLx support the new database that John Hu is working on? Well, that's a good. No, I don't think it does. I think it supports SQLx supports three databases: MySQL, Postgres, and SQLite. Schema design is a whole separate topic. Absolutely, yeah. Amoed, you learned Vim as you're learning C. So overwhelming. Oh, I totally agree. You see fact dimension design in data warehouses a lot. Oh, I've never built a data warehouse. It's always one of the things that I've like thought I should. All right. Let's this is what we're going to be rebuilding. So if we go to main, we're gonna start with these two. So we're gonna have two games. We're gonna go with these again. We're gonna have our games vec. So we have the two games there. Let's remove that. So we'll start with just that one. Okay, back to queries. Ninjatron rating with a party of one. Welcome, 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 Ninja. How was your stream? What were you working on today? Where you can find the link to the YouTube channel. I believe that it's just YouTube. You're parsing proteins in Zig. That sentence is I don't know how to process that mentally. Like, are we talking about like the like medical genetic slash like, you know, that kind of like biological things? Or is that like a term in like game development or something else like that that I'm unfamiliar with? Which one is the hardest part, the protein or the Zig? The protein part. So like Zig, I know is a language. The proteins is like parsing proteins is like I like my brain knows that proteins is like not a programming thing in my mind. Like its definition goes somewhere else. So therefore, that broke my brain a little bit. There's an old file type called a PDB, protein data bank file, is a file that holds data about proteins and crystallographic info. Okay, so yeah, okay, so you're basically taking like biology data. I would assume is that biology? Is like the protein stuff? Would that be biology or does that be chemistry? And you're writing a parser to like parse out all that. Oh, interesting. I've never written a parser of that level. Okay, so it is biology. Okay, is it biochem? So it's like that sort of combination of the two. Interesting. That sounds like a lot of fun. Unfortunately, you caught me just as I need to head out too because it's around 8:30, which is time for me to end my stream. We have prepared, I guess like this one. Oh, I want you to go there. So allow the dead code there, and then we're gonna be remaking you. So I can delete. We're just gonna delete you, and I have that going there, and then you are yelling at me for something. I don't need a pool type. And then I'll just leave that warning because last time it did get me and I needed like, oh right, I need that underscore gone. So that'll be good. Okay, so this afternoon I'll be back around 2:30 or so to continue working on this. I actually have a schedule now. Although I don't have it like on this screen right now. I have it on the ending screen. So we'll take a look at that in a second. Do Oh, Kuvi Man is Ludum Dare finished. Okay, so Kuvi Man finished. He was programming a game in Rust, but looks like Kuvi Man finished and is now just playing games. So let's see, do I have any others? Not off the top of my head. So we'll just go ahead and end it here. All right. Here's the new schedule. So as I mentioned, I'll be back at 2:30 p.m. later today. I'll be going until 4 p.m. for for the stream, for the afternoon stream, we'll be recording a video for UNNEST. And then I think that's all the bulk imports that we're going to do. And then after that, we'll have to figure out what the next thing is. It might be joins. It might be, I think there's two other things that I have in sort of my mind for this. Joins being one of them. So we might go in there that direct. Oh, joins, migrations, and Cs. We need to do those 3 things. All right. So with that, have a great day, everybody. And I will see you all next time. Bye.